Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a journey through the text of Psalm 23. It's easily one of the most historically resonant passages ever written. And we're going to unpack exactly why these ancient words continue to provide such an incredible framework for comfort in our busy modern lives. Let's dive right in. I want you to take a second right now and honestly ask yourself, have you ever felt completely lost in the direction of your life? It's a universal human experience to hit a crossroads where the path forward just isn't clear, and that unsettling feeling of being unanchored, well, that's exactly what this ancient text addresses first. And when things go wrong, it's incredibly natural to wonder if you've just been abandoned. The source text actually anticipates this. It speaks directly to those moments where you might find yourself questioning if a higher presence is actually real in your daily struggles, or if you're just facing the chaos of the world entirely on your own. Look, if you are battling anxiety or searching for peace when your world is just spinning, this text offers a really fascinating framework. We're going to explore how these ancient words were designed to provide a direct antidote to modern exhaustion and offer a profound sense of grounding.
All right, moving to section 1, the ultimate comfort, finding rest in the shepherd.
What's really interesting about this passage is how it establishes God as the ultimate provider right out of the gate. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. The text describes a source of restoration for the soul, leading the way in paths of righteousness. Notice how it doesn't start with demands. It starts with an invitation to just rest. To fully grasp the meaning here, we have to understand the historical context. A first-century shepherd wasn't just a casual farmer. Sheep are notoriously directionless animals, so this was a fiercely dedicated guardian who practically lived with the flock. They were the absolute lifeline for deeply vulnerable animals out in some seriously harsh terrains. So the crucial point is that this ancient promise of provision speaks directly into our very real modern-day struggles. When you map the shepherd's role onto today, it becomes an anchor against things like clinical anxiety, sudden financial hardship, deep family tension, and that exhausting process of simply waiting on answers. With that context in mind, the text challenges the reader to consider where they specifically need guidance today. It asks you to think about what still waters actually look like in your own life. How do you find that mental and spiritual quietness in an otherwise loud, demanding world? Section 2, Walking Through Dark Valleys, Facing the Shadows with the Shepherd. This famous verse builds a powerful reminder that our circumstances do not define faithfulness. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. The text makes a radical claim here, absolute presence, even in the darkest trenches. And notice the shift. It goes from talking about God to talking directly to God. You are with me. That is huge. This beautifully illustrates the internal battle we all face. On one side, we have fear, entirely focused on the shadows and those immediate, terrifying circumstances. On the other, we have faith. The text suggests that recognizing the shepherd's literal presence is the key to shifting that mindset from crippling fear to enduring faith. Now, the mention of the rod and staff, these aren't just pretty, poetic words meant to sound nice. Actually, they are highly specific historical tools. They represent active protection and loving correction. The source material notes how, from a Christian perspective, Jesus ultimately fulfills this picture of fiercely defending believers from spiritual predators while gently guiding them back when they inevitably wander off course. Today, the valley of the shadow of death isn't usually a physical ravine, right? It takes the form of severe depression, crushing loneliness, the devastating grief over a loss, or a paralyzing fear of what the future holds. The text argues that the shepherd is fully equipped to handle every single one of these modern valleys. So looking at your own life right now, what specific valley are you walking through? The whole premise of the text is that identifying your valley is the first vital step to recognizing the presence of the guide walking right there alongside you.
Moving on to section 3, the prepared banquet table, blessing in the presence of enemies.
The way this scene is described is just striking. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. The text illustrates this highly intentional blessing right in the middle of spiritual warfare and uncertainty. The enemies haven't disappeared, but the host is ensuring his guest's cup of joy is completely overflowing, regardless of the surrounding threats. It's wild to think about. In its historical context, anointing a guest's head with oil was a deeply intimate act of ancient Middle Eastern hospitality. It provided physical relief from the harsh sun and actually helped heal wounds. This shows us how the text views God as personally tending to emotional wounds and publicly honoring the guest.
So the ultimate takeaway from this banquet table imagery is a profound reminder that no matter what internal or external enemies surround you, the proposed healing presence is infinitely greater than your deepest fears. The feast literally happens in spite of the fear.
Section 4, Eternal Goodness and Mercy, the Ultimate Promise.
Here, at the very end of the text, we are given an absolute assurance. The phrasing in the original language is amazing because it implies that goodness and mercy will actively, even aggressively, pursue us every single day of our lives. It's not just a passive hope. It's portrayed as an active pursuit that culminates in dwelling in this presence forever. When we look at the entire structure of Psalm 23, it reveals a beautifully sequential, loving path. It starts from our first breath with provision in the pastures. It guides us through the inevitable dark valleys. It provides abundance during life's battles. And finally, it leads us right into eternity.
And that brings us to Section 5, Finding Your Peace Today, a closing reflection and prayer.
The source material ultimately concludes with a posture of prayer, asking for restoration, protection, and strength. If this breakdown helps you understand the historical and structural depth of this ancient text, definitely don't forget to like, subscribe to this explainer, and share it with someone who enjoys deep dives into fascinating texts like this one. As you navigate your own personal pastures and valleys, the text leaves the reader with one final vital question to reflect on. Looking at your life right now, are you truly allowing yourself to be